Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day, and I'll tell you why. Because it is a Finland day. Everything about Moomin world and the Moominvalley. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
We need to talk about the Moomin. I've come to understand that some people think that these are
The Moomin. I've seen these before, but I've never known what they are. They look like hippopotamuses with hippopotamus. That's a hard word to say. Without any features, just completely white. What are they? Really weird.
These are big white hippos, and some people think that they're from Japan, but that's of course not true at all. And some people don't even know about the Moomin at all. Now, we can't really have that, can we? The Moomin are Finnish trolls, and they're awesome.
Finnish trolls.
The Moomin were created by author and illustrator Tove Jansson in 1945. The very first Moomin book was called Småtrollen och den stora översvämningen in Swedish, The Little Trolls and the Great Flood. They weren't called Moomin yet in the title, because the publisher thought that no one would buy a book with a strange name Moomin in the title. Well, little did they know that Moomin would become an international sensation with comics, books, games and TV series. And amusement parks. There's a Moominvalley at the Scandinavian house in...
Wait, hold on. You have an entire amusement park dedicated to the Moomins. Are they that popular in Finland? Wow. Maybe are they kind of like Teletubbies? You know, I don't know if you ever watched Teletubbies. You know, like that children's program. Are they kind of like that? Because to have a theme park, they must be a big deal in Finland. Let me know.
In New York, for example. And there's a Moomin theme park called Akebono Kodomo no Mori Koen in Japan. But most importantly, there's Moomin World outside of Turku in Finland, and that's where I am today.
So this is outside okay. Let me know if I should go to this theme park. It might be a good day trip. I don't know if I'd look a bit weird going there as an adult on my own though. It seems like a place that you'd go as a kid or with a family, with children. Let me know if I should visit though.
Even if you don't know much about the Moomin, I'm pretty sure that most people have heard of them at least. The Moomin books have been translated to 60 languages and the comics have been published all over the world. But the biggest success is probably the animated series. Both of them. One series came out in the 1990s and one in 2019. Both of them are Japanese-Finnish productions. The first one was called Tanoshi Moomin Ikka, or just Moomin outside of Japan. And the second one was simply called Moominvalley. But the Moomin have featured in more than just books and comics and TV series. There's a lot of Moomin music available and Moomin merchandise of all kinds.
Moomin music. What the hell is a Moomin? What's a Moomin music? They have their own music. They're a full-on franchise. They're like Disney, right? Like Moomin just seems like a full-on franchise. That they've franchised out everything. Moomin music. They don't even have mouths. So how are they making music?
Kinds. And also a lot of different Moomin games from 1995 all the way up to 2024 with Snufkin, Melody of Moominvalley for PC and Nintendo Switch being the latest one. Many people saw Moomin for the first time in the comics though, even though that can be a generational thing. Moomin was published as a daily comic strip as well as in comic collection albums between 1947 and 1975. That's how I personally got introduced to Moomin, by reading my mom's old comics. But let's talk a bit more about those Moomin TV series, because I only told half the truth. I said that there's been 2 Moomin TV series, but that's actually not true. There's been dozens of them. In 1959 there was a German version called Die Moominfamilie. And in 1969, the first Japanese Moomin series came out, but Tove Jansson, the author, never approved of it, so it didn't get published outside of Japan. Apparently, that series had cars and violence and drunk Moomin. I'm not saying that that's a better version of Moomin, but I'm not saying that it isn't. Tove Jansson did approve Shin Moomin in 1972 though, which was a bit more faithful to her stories. And then there were different animated puppetry series from Poland in 1978. And the Soviet Union made a couple of short films in 1980 that's called, sorry, I need to check my notes, Shlyapa Volshebnika. And then
Jeez, Moomin very, very big all around Europe and Japan.
finally, we arrive at the two animated series that I already mentioned. So while many people these days only know about the Japanese animated series, there's a long history of Finnish trolls before that. I think that I actually saw that Polish puppet show when I was a kid. Swedish television was infamous for buying cheap children's stuff from Czechoslovakia and Poland. But if you try to show that to kids today, they'd probably call Child Protective Services on you.
They are cute, but it's a bit weird looking just because they have eyes and just a snout and that's it. Bit weird.
So what can you see at Moomin World? Well, if you're interested in the Moominvalley, there's a lot to discover. You can check out the iconic blue Moomin house, for example, and see how the Moomin family lives. Except for the Moomin.
Did he just say you can go to the Moomin house and see how the Moomin family live? Like, what do you do at a Moomin? Like, how do you make an entire theme park out of Moomin characters? Like, what is there to see? It looks really small though. I feel like it's like in a small area. Can you really call it a park? I don't know. We'll continue.
Moomin troll who has his own blue house next to the bigger Moomin house. There's also Snork Maiden's beauty salon and Mrs. Filifjonk's house. It feels really weird to say these names in English, by the way. It's supposed to be Snorkfröken and Filifjonkan, but I guess that it's close enough at least. Mrs. Filifjonk is of course a cleaning fanatic, so she's the polar opposite of me. I like this theme park. They're putting kids to work with household chores. You can also see Sniff's house. Sniff isn't a Moomin, but he's Moomin Troll's adopted brother, and he's also quite a weird little scaredy cat. If you want to see something more weird, you can also check out the Hattifattener's cave. Hattifatteners are small white ghost-like creatures that don't talk, and they have an affinity for electricity.
What am I watching? For kids, this is very interesting, but it's like they're not doing anything. It's just a smoke machine and just like little ghosts.
Moomin Papa has traveled with them to their sacred island, and he's never really been the same ever since. Some speculate that Moomin Papa's travel is a metaphor for a life crisis, and that his relationship with the Hattifatteners is...
I just unlocked a memory, guys. I just unlocked a memory. I once was part of a... how do I put it? Like like an event like this, and I was a mascot, and I wore one of these outfits, not the Moomin ones. It was like another character, another like, I think it was, I don't know if it was a Disney character, but I wore one of these massive suits. They're so hot. It's so hot in here, and you can only just about see out, and you can't really hear. It's all muffled inside. I've worn one of these suits before, like a similar suit.
is symbolic for male inner angst. The Moomins are just cute cartoon characters on the surface, but there's a lot of depth to these creatures. And maybe that's why they've become so beloved. There's been a lot of analyses and interpretations of the Moomin stories. Moomin Papa's conflicted masculinity is the source of a lot of discussion, for example, but there's more. The stories are quite strange and unnerving at times. You can sense the shadow of looming disaster in the stories, but you can also take comfort in how the Moomin characters handle each crisis. There's been a flood, a comet, and even an immigration crisis, and the Moomin have handled it all, more or less.
Moomin books talk Moomin books talk about immigration. This sounds a bit heavy for a children's story or children's animated series.
And they handle it all in a very human way, even if they of course are not human at all. Loneliness and exclusion are also common themes in the stories, which makes sense given that they're from Finland, because Finland isn't really known as a cheerful and social place.
That's a bit rude. You are social and you are cheerful. But yeah, that's a bit rude. You're just independent, Finland. You're just an independent nation.
Handle different individual needs is also discussed. The Moomin troll and Snufkin are close friends, and Moomin understands that Snufkin is a vagabond who needs to travel. Snufkin needs his freedom to explore, and Moomin has to learn to accept it, even though he misses Snufkin. And the complex relationship between Moomin Papa and Moomin Mama also illustrates how loneliness can exist between people who are really close. In short, there's more to the creatures of Moominvalley than you would expect from silly cartoon characters. Moomin World is a very pleasant place to visit. It's a happy place filled with fun attractions for kids. And for adults who haven't grown up. It's
clearly, I don't know if I could be an adult and just go there. I'd feel like people would be like, this guy's a bit weird. Why is he going to Moomin World? I might have to rethink going. I want to go to Turku, but I don't know if I will go to Moominvalley. But let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see me there. Because if you'd like to see me there, then I'll go. But yeah, bit weird.
It's also full of nature, and there's plenty of places to relax and enjoy the Finnish summer. Nice. And there's a lot of characters you can interact with. The Moomin family, of course, with Moomin Papa, Moomin Mama, and the Moomin Troll. Little Me was my mom's favorite character, a tiny but temperamental fireball. Snufkin is many other people's favorite character. His wanderlust and his love of telling stories is quite appealing to me, for example. We mustn't forget about Snork Maiden, of course, quick of mind and obsessed with jewelry, and the Moomin Troll. And there's also Stinky, the bad boy of Moominvalley, who apparently can be found in jail quite often.
Stinky.
And many others. Tuutikki, the witch, Mrs. Filifjonk, and so many others. If you're not familiar with Moomin, then all of this is most likely gonna sound like complete gibberish. Yeah. But I hope that you'll check it out anyway and see if you get hooked on these quite odd characters.
It's definitely a money-making franchise, isn't it? Look at this shop with all the trinkets that you can purchase. That's how they make their money.
If you want to visit Moomin World, there are several ways to get here. Moomin World lies in Nathalie, 16 kilometers from Turku and 180 kilometers from Helsinki, so it's possible to come here as a day trip from either town. You're probably not gonna have a car, but that's an obvious way to get here. You can also take a bus from Turku, or a taxi if you feel like spending a lot and you're filthy rich. If you come here from Helsinki or Tampere, then train is the best option in my view. It's quick and convenient. I think you have to go by Turku if you come by train, by the way. And speaking of Turku, one more option for getting here is to take the steamboat Ukko-Pekka from Turku. Going with Ukko-Pekka takes around 2 hours, and it gives you a lovely view of the archipelago. The steamboat Ukko-Pekka will cost you 32 euros though, one way, and the bus will just cost a few euros. I'm actually doing a combination. Ukko-Pekka here and then...
I'd definitely do that. I'm going to get on a lot of like ferries and like not boats, but ferries and yeah, like boats, like big boats when I go to Scandinavia because there's so much water, there's the fjords, there's water all around Denmark. Denmark's got how many islands? Like Finland, you've got water surrounding you. It's just, I need to be in the ocean.
and bus back. A ticket to Moomin World itself will cost you 39 euros, and the webpage has an English version, so you won't have any trouble ordering a ticket. If you do visit Moomin World, you should definitely explore Turku as well. It's actually Finland's oldest city, dating back to the 1200s.
See, that I didn't know. I didn't know it was Finland's oldest city. That's something new. Definitely going to Turku.
I just might dive more into Turku in a separate video, so make sure you check it out if you're interested in Finland. This wasn't intended to be a complete guide to either the Moomin or Moomin World. It's intended to show you a bit of what to expect and to get you familiar with the characters. If you didn't know much about the Moomin before this video, then I hope that it can serve as a starting point for learning more about them. And if you did know about the Moomin, then, well, maybe I gave you some new pieces of information at least. Either way.
Gave me lots of information because I have no clue who the Moomin. I've seen the Moomin figurines, the weird hippos with no features, but I didn't, I just thought they were weird. I never kind of engaged in them. I don't know if in the UK they were big.
Either way, I hope you enjoyed this exploration of Moomin World, the Moominvalley, and all the weird and wonderful creatures that can be found there. If you want to learn more about upcoming videos or...
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I don't know what else to say. Interesting. Moomin. It seems like it's a big franchise in Finland. And clearly Japan and clearly the rest of Europe love Moomin as well. Yeah. Should I go to Moomin World? Let me know in the comment section. When I come to Turku, should I go to Moomin World? I don't know if I should because I'm just one adult and it just looks a bit weird. But guys, let me know in the comment section below. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, I will see you very soon.